Good evening, everyone. This is Madhurima Mazumdar. I'm happy to be here today. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Moshumi from Woodpecker Media, for curating such a wonderful concept and bringing this together for all the people during lockdown when everybody's just self isolating and just being at home. So, today I will be speaking on self love and why self care isn't being selfish. And during the next 30 minutes, I will be covering the following, like what is self love, why is self love important in today's time, and what are the challenges that we face in loving and accepting ourselves in the midst of everything that we do, and how to overcome them and make ourselves a priority. So I see a few of you already online. So I will be taking it topic by topic. So anything that you would like to ask, please put up a comment so I can address whatever questions that you have as much as I can. So I'll begin with what does self-love mean? So self-love, I'm sure, is a concept which all of you must have been hearing from time eternity. It is a very, very simple thing. It means nothing but having a very high regard for your own well-being and for your own happiness. And self-love means taking care of your own needs and not compromising or sacrificing your happiness or your well-being in order to please others. Self love does not mean settling for less than what you deserve. So, to understand what you deserve, you have to undergo certain steps and understand what are your needs. So, a couple of things that will help you to understand what is self love and what is it to love yourself is you can sit down and identify areas in your life where you have put yourself as a priority and where you haven't put yourself as a priority and why. So, whichever area you have put yourself as a priority, you can ask yourself why you do that, and wherever you have it, you can ask yourself why you haven't done that. What is stopping? So whichever area you have put yourself as the back burner, ask yourself what's stopping you. What comes to your mind which makes you take such a decision of putting yourself behind. All right. Secondly, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, and spiritually? So it is just not about wearing the good clothes or putting a lot of makeup or going for holidays or doing a lot of things for the social media. Do you express yourself freely in front of the world, or do you suppress your emotions and your thoughts in order to maintain peace in relationships? Do you speak up when you feel that you would like to communicate? Do you know how to maintain your sanity irrespective of the people around you, the negativity from situations, the world, and everything, your career, your every other places? So do you take care of your diet? Do you take care of your overall well-being, your health? Do you nurture your body? It's not required that you have to go for a marathon or you have to work out in the gym for 2 hours in a day. It can be just a half an hour walk, but it is not about the quantity or the quality. It is about the intention that you have to put yourself as a priority. Then a very, very important thing is how aware are you of your desires, even sexually with your partner? And also, do you know your body? Do you know what are your desires? Do you share it openly with your partner? Do you feel comfortable doing that? Do you feel worthy of your desires being met? Okay. Then, do you also spend a lot of me time, maybe every day or every week? And do you have a socialize, or do you ever socialize beyond your family or your partner, spouse, or children? Do you take out time for yourself? It's not that you have to go out on a solo trip all the time. Yes, if you do, great. Even if you do not, do you even spend an hour in a day just doing nothing, maybe just sitting by the window, just talking to yourself, right? Do you express yourself candidly in every relationship of yours and without a worry about how I will be perceived, or you always are trying to maintain an image? So, what is the image that you are holding in your head, which has been formed over the years? It can be from your childhood, from your teachers, your family, your parents. Everybody has an opinion about you that, okay, you are good in this, you're bad in that, you're great in this, you're terrible in this, or all the other adjectives that you can think of. So, are you actually being who you are? Do you know who you are? Or are you just playing the roles of what everybody else thinks you are, beyond all the things that you ever tried to even know who you are? Are you just living based on whatever everybody's telling you to do? So, do you also, do you insecure or jealous or envious of others and try to copy or imitate their work personally or professionally? So, are you often running short of ideas personally, professionally, and just keep imitating others? Do you feel insecure by anybody's success, anybody's looks, or the kind of relationships they have, the money that they earn, the clothes that they wear? So, or do you easily get carried away by peer pressure, the trends and fashion, whatever is happening around the world? Or do you have an identity of your own? Do you know what you like? Do you know what you don't like? Or you just keep following based on social media trends and everything else. So, if you are, the kind of questions that I'm asking are basically to give you pointers to think, where are you? Do you know? So, if in most of these questions that I ask that you think that you're unsure, then there's a lot of work that you would have to introspect. There's a lot of work you would have to do internally to understand that who you are and what is exactly it is to put yourself as a priority and put yourself as an important person in life. All right, beyond every relationship, beyond every person that you know. So, self love is very important because not only for somebody who is 10 years old or 50 years old or 30-year old, you're a man, you're a woman, or whatever that you do personally and professionally, because self love is important because it motivates to make healthy choices in your life. When you hold yourself in a higher esteem, you're more likely to choose things of your choice. You're more likely to choose things that nurture you and nurture your well being and serve you well. So these things may be, in the form of eating healthy, exercising, or even having healthy relationships. So unfortunately, the society we live in is shaped in a way where we are sort of constantly trying to compete with each other. And since childhood, we have been told there's a prize, there's a competition, there is something where we're always trying to achieve a goal. So we're always trying to, better ourselves to match the expectations set up on us by society since the time we were born. So many of us are continuously just striving to do that, meet the parameter, meet the expectations of others, and we just burn ourselves out. We just keep going that extra mile and extra mile and extra mile, and we never feel content with what we have achieved. There's always more. There's always more. All right. So yes, it is very important to keep striving for better, for doing much better than what you are doing. But that has to come with a lot of joy. That has to come with a lot of happiness. And as a lot of people say, your biggest competitor is you. You do not need to compare yourself with anybody or follow a particular trend. You just need to know who you are and just stick to it. So we sometimes even feel guilty of taking a break. We often feel guilty of even taking care of ourselves. So in these ways, we can identify areas in our lives where we actually stretch ourselves to fit in to a particular crowd, or we stretch ourselves to make others happy, with our actions, or where we are constantly being judged, or we feel that we are being judged, and there's a lot of expectations coming from others, from us, about everything that we do. So, if you keep your self love high, if you know your worthiness, if you know who you are, you will never do this with yourself. You will never tie yourself. You will never burn yourself out. But you will do everything with a lot of, ease, with a lot of joy, with a lot of happiness. And then even everything that you have in front of you will be much more easier. So another thing is about worthiness, which I was talking about. So worthiness or self-worth is basically the opinion that you have about yourself and the value that you place on yourself. So it's not exactly about the kind of compensation you ask in a professional environment or the fees that you take as a professional working on your own. An example of self-worth is basically your belief about self, like what you think about it and what do you think you deserve. Do you deserve good things? Do you deserve bad things, or whatever that you think. What kind of relationships do you deserve? What kind of remuneration do you deserve? What kind of understanding and love deserve? So everything comes from your own self-worthiness. So it's a state that is somewhat timeless and it is unchanging because it's directly measured with how you value yourself and how you regard yourself in spite of anything and everything the world and the people around you are saying, right? So here, to understand your worthiness, you can ask yourself that, how aware am I about my own potential in terms of the kind of remuneration that I can ask from my clients. And it's not based on the market trends, but based on what you think you deserve. So you might have a particular qualification, a particular experience, and you might think, okay, this is the market trend, and this is what people would ask with my background. But it's okay. You might still think that, I deserve more than that. That's perfectly fine. So have the courage to ask for it. And it's not only about the remuneration, it can just be in a very basic day life. If you would like to have tea, whereas your spouse would like to have coffee, you must speak up and say, I don't want to have coffee, I would like to have tea. So that is your worthiness, where you are not succumbing to the situations around, but at the same time encouraging and accepting others. It's their choice. They want to have coffee. If you want to have tea, don't compromise just to make others happy. Go ahead and have that cup of tea. All right. So it's very important to know your words professionally as well as personally, so that you can be comfortable who you are and you can easily be what you are based on your potential. Another important thing is, which is everywhere all the time, is we generally succumb to a lot of negativity from people, from situations and circumstances. So if you are somebody who is succumbing to negativity very easily, ask yourself that, why do I allow myself to get affected beyond a level? And why do I lose my focus and my power? Why am I giving the control of my life to somebody else? Aren't you aware? Aren't I aware about what's this? What am I worthy of? Why am I giving it to somebody to control me? And how do you value yourself? Or how do you value yourself in the first place, or not? Or do you devalue yourself based on the opinions of others? A very simple example would be, when you're just getting ready to go somewhere and you think, I'm addressing women, for example. If you think that you want to wear a red lipstick and you get dressed in your lover and you just walk out of the bedroom and your husband says that, oh, red is too outrageous for this particular event. I think you just change it and get a neutral tone or a peach or something like that. So would you stick to your decision of, because staying and wearing that red lipstick, or would you just go inside and rub it off and wear something else? It is not about being rebellious. It is about taking it and going ahead with what you have decided. It's a very, very small example. Instead of getting into a conflict of why this and why that and ego and all, just smile and you can just tell your husband that, I love it because I'm worth it. So yeah, so that is something which you can keep developing over a period of time. And if you start doubting and devaluing yourself by what others think about it, you're unsure about your own true potential, then it's time that you do something and understand your worth and take care of yourself, because there's no one in this world who knows you as much as you know yourself. So that is the best thing to the your soul inside. So one more thing which will help you to understand is, are you somebody who is conscious to be your best in everywhere? Are you striving for perfectionism everywhere, every time? So there is a lot of benchmark that we set for ourselves, that there's a lot of expectations our family has from us, our boss has from us, employees have from us, the world has from us, even we have from our own selves. So ask yourself, where did all this come from? Where did they arise? Was it now? Was it being growing since years? And where have I come today? And what have I done to myself to meet all those expectations? Yeah, right. So means we actually don't prioritize needs and wants and desires because we're just trying to continuously play roles, you know. So, also another important thing is self talk. You keep talking to everybody. How much do you talk to yourself? And even yourself, what are the kind of things that you talk? Are you talking about things which you hear that others talk about you, or some comments they've passed about you, the point of views they have about you, the judgments they've given to you? So are you feeding your mind continuously with, oh, she said that, oh, he said that, oh, she thinks I'm good at this, or he thinks I'm bad at that, or I'm this or I'm that. So there's too many voices in your head, too much of it, too much of clutter. So you need to declutter all of that because nobody knows you and nobody's opinion or point of view is more important than about you. That's what your reality thinks about you. And if you, how easily would you judge based on others? Okay, because if you have made a choice for yourself, never ever go back to it. There can be tweakings based on situations and all, but if it is something which is like the common trend that is continuously happening, then there is a lot of scope for you to increase your worthiness, where you are continuously taking impulsive decisions out of guilt or just to keep others happy. So I'm sure many of the things that I have shared as of now might, if you have been following if you're thinking, it might stir a couple of emotions from the past for you. That okay, so why did it come from? And you may find a few things uncomfortable, but that's okay because inside is very, when you're introspecting, there's a lot of cleansing that we all go through, and it's okay because once the cleansing is done, you'll be more and more beautiful because your love for yourself will just grow, and that is the best that you can do for yourself. So, when we talk about knowing you, who are you, accepting who you are, the most vital thing there is, do you know who you are? Right? So the most of us would identify ourselves by the family we come from, or the job that we are doing, or the profession that we have. We're always giving titles to ourselves. Okay, oh, I'm a CEO of this company, or I'm a teacher, I'm a housewife, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm this or I'm that, or whatever. So do you know who you are beyond all these human identities, beyond all these tags, beyond all the roles that you play? So I can just help you to understand who is the true you. So if you go back to your childhood days and just remember all the things that you ever loved, you enjoyed, you wished for, you desired, before the fears, the conditioning, and the social expectations came to you from teachers, from parents, family, or whoever. So who is that real you? If you could forget all the fears, all the worries, all the identities, all the roles and responsibilities that you have, who is that true you? Who had no worries and no fears and nothing. If you could list down all those dreams which had without, if you have just be and don't think about anything, no conditions applied. Who was that person? What are the things that you enjoyed? What gave you joy? What was all the fun things that you always saw? Maybe as a 5-year-old, or let's make it more simpler, maybe as a 7 or 8-year-old, because that is a more clearer memory we all will have. Yeah, as a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, how were you? How were you behaving? So I used to jump around. I used to be very this or very that. But that's the real you, because that is the true essence of who you. It's the pure consciousness that you were, which just got clouded with a lot of fears and conditioning over the years. So if you those dreams of yours or desires of yours of your childhood days and see that what has changed from that 7-year-old child and to who are you today, and where in life did it change during your school, during your college days? Did it change after when you started working or after you had your child? Wherever. So why did it change also? And what would it take today to authentic you, where the person who never had a fear just was just chilled out and loving and laughing and doing everything. Okay, and what would you like to be? What makes you feel light? That, the chilled out and the happy child, or the person that you are today who has a lot of worries and fears and conditioning and things like that? The world wants you to be. So that is a choice, which you have to make. I'll just pause for a while and see if there are any questions anybody has, or I'll. So I see Nita. Hi, Nita here. So okay, so I'll now talk about a very important thing, because most of the people say that having a lot of self love means you're being very selfish, and then you can't love others. That's the biggest myth I have ever heard. I used to think that way years back, because that was my country, was the kind of general upbringing we all had. So I learned that self love and self care isn't selfish. Okay, self love is something which is ingrained in us naturally. Forget. So, for example, okay, so these two glasses, so both you can see is empty. So now, if I have to pour water from one glass to the other, if both are empty, there's nothing that I will pour. So, in order to give water to one of the glasses, I would have to first pour water in one of the glasses and then pour the water in the other glass, right? So, this is what self love is all about. You cannot pour from an empty glass. I'm sure you all must have times from different ports and different places, because if you are empty, it's impossible for you to serve. You have to be just so complete in love, then only you can give love. I'm sure even if you when you do not take care of yourself, you will still be serving, you will still be taking care of your family, you'll be doing your job, you'll be doing absolutely everything. But there will still be a void inside. There'll be a lot of frustration mounting under the carpet. And but the moment you try and there'll be a lot of triggers, lot of triggers, because you'll be so delicate from inside, because you have always kept yourself behind at the back burner. Keep yourself that you take care of yourself. The moment you acknowledge your worthiness, you'll be so happy, you'll be so full of love for yourself, and you will learn and respect that love and respect. Only when you love yourself, you'll be able to love others unconditionally. Till the time you don't love yourself unconditionally, you will never be able to love others unconditionally, because it starts with you. If your cup is empty, you'll never be full. And it can't refill and refill. Okay, my cup is full now, and for the entire life. No, it's a continuous process. It's like how you brush for the next 7 days. You will have to brush hygiene. So it's part of your. So we'll just go ahead. That what are the fears in our life, which stops or makes us think that self love is being selfish. So we are told that self love is equal to being selfish, and there is a myth that you have to be in a certain way, and you have to behave in a certain ways in order to feel lovable by others. Okay, if you talk in a particular way, people won't accept you. If you do certain things, people won't love you. People won't like you, and you are continuously conscious, and you're feeling this: I'm not lovable, or I'm not good, or I'm not likable. And all those things are rooted from our past. It can be childhood, it can be anywhere. And then we start doubting ourselves, and we start thinking, I'm not worthy of being loved. I'm not worthy of even loving myself. All right. And then you obviously have conflicts with people. There can be disagreements, there can be, because obviously no two people are the same. So you will have a lot of differences in life with a lot of people. So those conflicts, when you are having those conflicts, a lot of people will pass a lot of comments about you that, oh, you're this or you're that. So those things also contribute a lot to about how you feel about yourself. So their judgments. So I'm sure I could clear certain things important and how to understand your worthiness and what are the barriers that come to ourselves. You can, spend some time with yourself and just find those things out. And but in just simple words, I just jot down certain few points by how you can love yourselves on a day-to-day. You need to be kind to yourself. You are so kind to everybody in your home, and what about you? It's to yourself. You eat well, stay fit, stay healthy. Mirror. Okay, talk to yourself in the mirror. Appreciate who you see in the mirror. It doesn't matter what size you are, what complexion you have, what's the color of your hair, every little thing about you is so beautiful. You don't think you're beautiful or you're handsome, of how many compliments you receive from people around you, you will never ever accept that you're beautiful and you're handsome, right? So accept yourself, love yourself on the mirror, and you know others. Thoughts, the kind of thoughts that you have gotten because you said and how you look at the life in general. Detach yourself. I am sure you might be thinking, oh, it's difficult because there might be relationships which are part of your family or wherever. It's difficult. So I'm not saying you'll have to physically or legally stop connecting with people. Yourself, your vibrations will change. You will continuously be in a different zone, and automatically, people who are not of that same vibration or frequency will slowly start detaching themselves from you. And you make a choice that, what kind of relationships would I like to have? What kind of people would I like to have? What kind of a circle would I like to keep for myself? So, all those things will happen when you know who you are, when you accept who you are, and stop blaming yourself for what others think that you are. That self-criticism will not do you any good, right? Another very important thing is learning to say no, which I always meet people and they say it's so difficult to say no. But learning to say no when you want to is a very, because the moment you learn to say no, you've come a long way, right? You'll make a lot of love for yourself. I said earlier, create me time or maybe once in a week, just spend some time with yourself. All right, once in a day, a week, whenever, just any phone, any video, any YouTube, any social media, nothing, just you and yourself, right? Maybe in nature, just go for a walk, go for a run, just go and sit in a park, and whatever it suits you, right? Just do take breaks from technology and from people. And another important thing is give up on that expectation of being loved and accepted by everyone. You are, or you're not an ice cream sundae that you will be loved by everyone. You will not be, it's okay. That's more important. Be expressive and talk, not with an expectation that you'll be understood, but it's for your own good because it's good for your health to talk and express, and have a lot of gratitude for everything that you do. Because gratitude, all the not so good things, also be in gratitude and driving you to love, right? And set your life because you don't know which one is your last. So live without any regret. And yeah, that's one of the few things that you can do. And yourself and taking care of just being awesome because all of us are just awesome. So I'm almost done with the things that I thought of covering, and I see a lot of people writing a lot of comments. I can see appreciative, Deja. Thank you much for your comments. And yeah, before we end, I would again like to thank Nidhi Pandya and for helping me to be a part of Growing Buddies and doing this for all of you, and definitely emotionally for curating such a beautiful, live and giving me these opportunities. So thank you so much. I hope whatever I shared, get something out of it, and you can imbibe that in your lives. And yeah, do reach out to me on which or wherever, and we'll see how we can do things again and keep loving yourself because self care isn't selfish, right?